Farming crops, building homes, and living cozy. These upcoming life sim games could be your new obsession, or maybe just a chill escape for you to sink into. But do you think any of these cozy games could take on giants like The Sims? Let's find out, and welcome to what's growing in 2024. To begin our cozy adventure, Coral Island. Here we have a vibrant and laid-back reimagining of farm sim games. Be who you want and experience enchanting island living at your own pace. Live off the land, nurture animals, build relationships with a diverse cast of townsfolk, and make the world around you a more vital and harmonious place. Farming sims have been all the rage these past few years, especially since the release of Stardew Valley, which is by itself getting better and better, and having more options is always nice. In this game, you'll be able to build your dream farm, write your own story, befriend over 70 characters, find that special someone to build a life with, restore an island which was once a paradise, dive into the ocean, mine caverns, and generally be yourself, which I think is the most important part. Coral Island has been in early access since the end of 2022, so it's been playable for over a year with very positive reviews on Steam. Thousands of reviews and 90+% positive, so generally people are liking it. However, they did say that they were expecting the early access phase to take about 1 year, but of course we've already passed that point, and we can expect this game to continue developing into 2024, with many more features on the way. The game generally looks pleasant, relaxing, and maybe a nice island variation to the life sim. So you can check out Coral Island now, which seems like a safe bet, or wait for full release. Then, for one that is much anticipated, Haunted Chocolatier. This is the next game from Eric Barone, also known as Concerned Ape, the creator of Stardew Valley. After the massive success of Stardew Valley, they're moving on to a chocolate-making life sim. Now, the thing about Haunted Chocolatier is that we have had a reveal trailer, but that was a couple years ago at this point, and we don't really know too many details. The odd update, the odd screenshot. In Eric's own words, he just likes to work in secret, so we really don't know much about it. If it is anything like Stardew Valley, and in Stardew Valley fashion continues to get updates and improvements over the years, Haunted Chocolatier could just be a fantastic alternative or continuation to the Stardew Valley experience. And I think anyone who's been into any kind of farming sim would also be into Haunted Chocolatier. But really, there isn't too much to say at this point. You know, even if there has been anything said already, it's not necessarily gonna still be true by the time this game releases. It should be mentioned that a major update for Stardew Valley is on the way, and I have to expect after that update launches, the focus will be on Haunted Chocolatier, but we'll see how that goes. And then we have Critter Cove, cozy scrapyard life sim. This one is also set on an island. Here we rebuild an island town alongside a quirky cast of critters in this open world cozy life sim. Explore a vibrant and mysterious archipelago, build a thriving community, and make new friends, all in a colorful, handcrafted post-apocalypse world. So I suppose the apocalypse has happened, and now it is after the apocalypse when everything's nice again? Your new life in this cozy island paradise awaits. So in this game, you find yourself in a neglected town where you get to develop and rebuild it to become your own thriving island community. You salvage trash and craft items, furniture, clothes, and more, and you rescue and recruit new critters to live and work in your town. This one also has underwater elements where you get to craft your scuba gear and dive into an underwater world. And of course, you can personalize your home, the whole town, and your wardrobe as you build stores, amenities, and even tourist attractions. This one does just look really lovely, and it is planning to release Q1 in 2024 into early access. So they are planning to release fully a 1.0 version of the game sometime in 2024, but no specific release date has been set. Though it will be playable sometime early in the year, and although of course an early access game could easily be delayed into 2025, I think Critter Cove, the cozy scrapyard life sim, will be mostly playable through 2024, and from what we've seen so far, it looks really pleasant. And also, maybe trend alert, islands and underwater stuff in life sims? It seems like a popular theme to go for. But let's see how many games on this list actually follow this latest trend. For a reprieve from the seaside, my time at Sandrock. Travel to the desert community of Sandrock and take the role of a fledgling builder. Use your trusty toolset to gather resources, construct machines, and turn your rundown workshop into a well-oiled production facility to save the town from the jaws of economic ruin. This is kind of a sequel to my time at Portia, and instead of lush green environments, it's a desert, which I think is a nice change of pace. In this game, you build your workshop, setting up all your tools and decorating as you explore an open world surrounding the city-state of Sandrock. You dive into ruins to dig for old world relics, seek out materials in hard-to-reach locations, or you could spend time relaxing in Sandrock itself with your neighbors. A big promise is extensive stories for NPCs, which is very important in games like this. I mean, it always kind of feels bad when you get to know an NPC and you kind of can tell when you've reached the end of their story or reached the end of their possible dialogue options, and then the character goes from this living, breathing being into what's clearly an NPC. That's probably one of the worst feelings in life sims, and hopefully this one does manage to keep the stories going. There is combat in this game, with melee combat and third-person shooting mechanics. Plenty of mini-games are on the table, and just generally so much more. Now, my time at Sandrock has been in early access since the middle of 2022 actually, so it's been a while. And although they did say they aim for at least a year in early access, obviously we're way past that now, so it's unclear when my time at Sandrock will fully release. But it is being received positively so far. Generally over 80% positive, with over 12,000 user reviews on Steam, it seems like a solid entry already on this list. So if you like the look of it, go check out my time at Sandrock. And then for a cozy game with just a wonderful art style, it's called The Garden Path. A slice of life sim about the joy of gardening, designed to be picked up and played in short and sweet bites. Whether you're fishing, growing, trading, or making new vegetable friends, a wonderful and wistful adventure awaits when wandering the garden path. It's interesting that a selling point for this game is to be played in short bursts, considering many life sims are played for endless hours and easily thousands of hours overall. So it's nice to have an option where you don't have to commit your entire life to it, and it's by design not going to be a complete obsession. And a big focus on gardening, not farming, is here, which is also different, even if only in a subtle way. You find plants to cultivate, whistle to charm song fish in a unique fishing minigame, you trade what you harvest, and you take part in events across the passing days. All while you piece together a whimsical story as you discover the secrets of the garden. Now, the main selling point here, I think, is the art style. It just looks phenomenally cozy and relaxing and beautiful all around. And nothing else really on this list looks like this. It looks like a modern storybook, and I just love the way it looks. Now, it has to be said that at the time of recording, it does say that the release date for this game is 2023, but we're already towards the end of 2023 when I'm making this video. So either it releases really late into the year, or it gets delayed into 2024. Either way, I'm gonna list it here because we'll be doing most of the playing in 2024 anyway. And just personally, I'm gonna keep an eye on The Garden Path. And hey, now that you're a bit into the list, I'm sure you're enjoying it, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you could like the video. Alright, next game. I Am Future, Cozy Apocalypse Survival. This is a game which is a relaxing survival game about building a cozy rooftop camp amid a flooded post-apocalyptic city. You set up a farm, cook delicious food, dismantle tools for crafting resources, automate chores by recruiting cute robots, and uncover the mystery behind the catastrophe. You just build your little slice of life paradise up on a rooftop as the rest of the world has gone to ruin. Now, it doesn't really sound like you could turn an abandoned roof into any kind of cozy home, but that's what this game is about. You craft gadgets out of ancient home appliances, you upload AI into buildings and create robots that help you with your work, and there's fishing, farming, and cooking, because of course there is. Now, you do have to protect your base a little bit in this post-apocalyptic world. There's mutated life forms, which can cause some problems, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. And after you've protected your home, you get to explore the sunken city and its mysteries, to find out what happened with the civilization that used to be there, and maybe get to the bottom of what caused the end of the world. Now, this is another game that is in early access, but just recently, in the second half of 2023, and so far it's been received very positively. They do say they don't want to be in early access for too long, but you know how these things go. Sometimes it's best if games just take their time. So I do expect I Am Future, Cozy Apocalypse Survival to continue in early access into 2024, but it should fully release not too long from now if they manage to stick to their word. Going full on into farming, it's The Ranchers, an open world country life sim for 1 to 4 players. You raise animals, grow crops, craft machines, build your dream house, and explore the gigantic open world where mines and dangerous monsters exist. You earn the villagers' respect and esteem, and who knows, maybe you find love and start a family. So this game is all about creating your ranch. You know, raising animals, growing crops, reclaiming resources, buying new plots of land, and all of that. You develop your ranch by crafting objects, machines, and processing resources for profit. There's ranch management, online cooperation, so you can invite 1 to 3 players to join you. There's an auction market, a trade guild, a massive open world which you can explore on foot, horseback, scooter, pickup, yacht, including mines with ultra-rare minerals, gems, and all of that. You can improve your character's skills, build the house of your dreams. Having said that, the game is said to be constantly in evolution, so things could change as time goes on. But also, I think one of the key things about The Ranchers is, although there is this pleasant overworld, just looking at the trailer, things get pretty deep in the mines, to the point where you might be fighting some unexpectedly harsh creatures. So overall, The Ranchers looks like a very interesting idea. Could be a cool one to get into with your friends. And as of right now, it's just set for a 2024 release. So if you like the look of The Ranchers and like the farming approach with a bit of a twist as you go deeper into the game, then The Ranchers might be something that you want to keep your eye on. Going back to the water, we've got Havendock. Breathe easy and thrive in this cozy colony sim. Build a haven for castaways, manage resources, and live your best life on the ocean. In this game, where you lead your humble settlement into a high-tech society. So this is a kind of a resource management game where you try to survive in the middle of the sea and build a thriving town. You attract settlers on board and you manage them, while trying to meet their needs. Early on, you start a farm and cook meals. You manage other castaways that show up on your Havendock. You become an inventor, creating machines to improve people's lives. Eventually, you head out from your Havendock to discover new lands. And although this is primarily a single-player game, there is an experimental multiplayer mode but the developers straight up said that you'll encounter a spectacular number of bugs, as this is a work in progress. Having said that, Havendock is in early access. It's not feature complete, but they do plan to leave early access in 2024. But until then, if you're unsure about Havendock, there is a free demo right now on Steam, so you can go have a closer look at Havendock with no risk and see if it's the kind of cozy life sim for you. To be a bit more cute and quaint, we have Everholm. In this game you play Lily, who is spirited away to a mysterious island. As her memories fade, everyone seems to know her and her quest for her missing sister. It's time to establish a homestead. Meet your family of Everfolks, then learn their secrets and solve the mystery of Everholm in this open-ended, minimalist RPG life sim. Taking some cues from Studio Ghibli, you are actually spirited away through a portal and you begin to lose who you are as you become part of Everholm. And this new world isn't all sunshine and flowers. The island has many secrets which need to be pried open by force or finesse. And you'll be delving into procedurally generated dungeons to fight monsters that lurk underground. But while you're overground, things are nice and pleasant. There's farming, there's shops, and just a really quaint, nice, lovely village. But, as it says, not all is as it seems. This one does just look really nice. And I think by looking at the gameplay, you can tell whether this game is for you. So if you're interested in Everholm, the release date is set for sometime in 2024, so you can keep an eye on this until then. Next up, we've got A New Leaf Memories. You wake up on the beach of a foreign land, unable to recall anything, so we've forgotten ourselves again. Alone and equipped with only the basic farming tools provided by the town residents, you aim to recover your memories, complete quests, and explore Omoid Island to unfold your story. As you can see, the trend does continue. We've got another island, and memory loss in a new world might also be part of the trend. In this game, you manage your dream farm. A plot of land is given to you by the mayor, and you get to transform and manage the terrain as you see fit. There's cooking and mining and fishing, because those are a necessity in this genre. And of course, relationships with all the other villagers. Quests that you can go on. This one does specifically have a big focus on pets and animals, dogs and cats, along with all your farm animals, which all require feeding, grooming, cleaning, and of course plenty of petting. Customization is a big point, your character and your home, so decoration and outfits abound. Now, having said all that, the game is supposed to be set to release sometime towards the end of 2023, and as I'm making this video, we are already approaching the end of 2023, so I'm gonna count this as a 2024 game, but also this game is being published by Crytivo, which don't always stick to their schedules, so I'm gonna expect this to have a good chance of being delayed into 2024. But also, this game was kickstarted a couple years ago, so what's a few more months into the new year? Anyway, A New Leaf Memories does look pretty charming, and if you're interested, you can keep an eye on it until it has some kind of release, hopefully sometime in the near future. For one with a long title, this one's called MeetLight and the Secrets of the Universe. MeetLight is an indie game with crafting, farming, building, and a unique spiritual story. Run your forge, take care of your farm, and trade with the villagers. Then you get to explore the energetic worlds and meet their inhabitants. This one is promising a skills system for your character, forging for crafting of tools and machines, farming, of course, cooking, extraction of raw materials, trading, a quality system for stuff you make and grow, quests to go on, an open world to explore, building of your house, and customization of your character. Seasons, weather, and growing trees are all part of this as well. Now, at the moment, we don't know too much about this game. I mean, the trailer does show a good amount, but it's hard to tell how this game will actually play at this moment. It is supposed to release sometime in Q1 of 2024, which hopefully is when we'll see more, and then we'll be able to properly judge MeetLight then. Congratulations, you've bought your own planet in Farlands, an agrarian rock in the edge of the galaxy, which, for some reason, was almost given away for free. So the time has come for you to leave the hectic and stressful life of the overcrowded metropolis for a more rural and rewarding life on an entirely different planet. I think many of us do just want to leave to another planet. In this game, you'll be restoring the planet, cutting weeds, clearing paths, reclaiming fields, and fixing what the passing of time has destroyed, turning an old agrarian rock into a thriving homestead. Meanwhile, you get to explore the solar system. Even though your ship is a little banged up, you'll be able to move between the planets, collecting resources and using them to help improve your farm, your tools, and your ship. There is a local community for you to get to know, but also, why was this planet so cheap? Something must be wrong. Generally speaking, this looks like a space Stardew Valley, and, honestly, I'm not mad about that. Sometimes we just need a change of scenery for our favorite thing. So perhaps Farland is gonna scratch that itch for many of you. Set for a release in Q1 of 2024, you'll be able to buy your own planet not too long from now. Sticking to the pixels, it's Pixelshire. Build the town of Pixelshire and grow your community in this sandbox game which mixes life sim elements with town building, exploration, and combat. Express yourself by planning the town to your liking, master trades, get to know your neighbors, and explore the continent of Arcadia. The unique thing here is you don't just build up your farm or your home, you're building the whole town, how you see fit, including terraforming so you can carve and craft the landscape and decorate pretty much everything. Your town will grow with each citizen you encounter along the way, and each villager has their own house that you must place and design. Of course, there's farming, planting, and crops with livestock, mining, woodcutting, fishing, cooking, brewing, and all that good stuff. After which you can explore a continent of land. And you can not just befriend the other townsfolk, many of them have unique skills which can assist you in your quests and adventures, so they can tag along as you head out into the world, which I think is a nice touch. So again, of course, it has to be said, this game is clearly influenced by Stardew Valley, but it brings its own twists and variety to the table, which I think is nice. So like the last game, maybe just a change of scenery is nice. So at the moment, Pixelshire is set for a 2023 release at some point, but into early access. So even if it does release by the end of 2023, it will continue development into 2024. And, as things go, most likely longer than that. But we'll see how it goes in Pixelshire. Okay, for one last game that was clearly inspired by Stardew Valley, Super Zoo Story. You build and manage your own personal zoo in the Pixel Marvel RPG Super Zoo Story. You construct your park, care for your animals, and ensure the happiness of both critters and humans alike. Maybe you even find that special someone while building the zoo of your dreams. So this is a life sim where you're building up a zoo. So kind of imagine Stardew Valley plus Zoo Tycoon, which I think is a pretty cool idea because you get to collect a variety of animals, over 70 different types, and you have to take care of them. And there are even dinosaurs where you get to develop new dinosaur species by combining DNA, and you get that dino DNA by exploring caves. And of course, there are relationships that you can build with all the local people and all of that. So this game had a little bit of a controversy earlier on with its art style, which was not just inspired by Stardew Valley, it pretty much looked like Stardew Valley, even though the premise was slightly different with the zoo. And even in the footage you're seeing right now, it probably looks very much like Stardew Valley. Although it is important to say that there was no copyright infringement or straight up plagiarism, the art assets were different. And to their benefit, since the criticism of the art style being too similar, there have been works to change the art to look more unique, to look more individual, and just generally different from Stardew Valley. I personally think it was pretty much fine before. because, you know, Stardew Valley is already a massively successful game. It's hard to take away from that. But I also do appreciate Super Zoo's story taking on that criticism and doing something with it, because I actually think the new art they're showing off looks really nice. So of course, as time moves on, more of the art is replaced and improved, so you can go check out how they're changing the art, and you can see that it is becoming more of its own style, which is nice to see. There's no set release date for Super Zoo's story, so no idea when it's gonna release. It's got an interesting premise, so if they just deliver on all of this stuff, then I think it could be a really cool game to get into. Alright, moving on. For a big game that's already a pretty big success, Disney Dreamlight Valley. Explore a world filled with the magic of Disney as you discover rich stories and build the perfect neighborhood alongside Disney and Pixar heroes and villains in this life sim adventure game. Now, when this game was first revealed, I was a little skeptical on how fun it could be, but having seen a lot more of it at this point, I can see the appeal, and others can as well. It's received about 12,000 user reviews on Steam at this point, with over 90% positive. Now, this game has all your typical trappings of a life sim game. There's farming and harvesting and relationships to build with all the Disney and Pixar characters, and house decoration and neighborhood decoration, and it's actually a pretty good outlet for creative expression, because I've seen some of the creations from Dreamlight Valley creators, and it can be very, very artistic. Now, having said that, it's been in early access, or so-called, since the second half of 2022, so it's been a while. And on the Steam page, it says it would be in early access for a minimum of 6 months and supposed to release sometime in 2023, but I don't think it's gonna release fully in 2023. And I know there's a lot more left to be desired in the game. And there have been criticisms about the monetization method here, where it has a lot of microtransactions and, you know, premium currency. And one of the biggest criticisms about this game is that you don't just have access to all the objects and furniture and stuff and clothes in the game. You sort of have to get it semi-randomly from the shops, and some people end up with a lot of cool stuff and some people don't. So at the moment, although it is overall a very positive experience, there's quite a lot of quirks and little bugbears that might get to you over time. But generally speaking, Dreamlight Valley has already been a success, and there's a lot of footage of it out there. And there is an active community around it, which I think is the most important point. Plus, they do keep adding in more story and more characters every few months or so, so that's nice to see at least. Anyway, this is a Disney game, so you don't really need me to sell it to you. Okay, now for games that are all competing with The Sims, beginning with Tiny Life. In this game, you control a set of people that live together in a household. Sounds familiar? You take care of their daily needs, build their skills, forge new relationships, or just mess up their entire life in whatever way you can think of. The interesting thing about Tiny Life is that it's sort of a Sims 1 demake. It's like a Sims 0 or Sims 0.5, where it's like 8-bit pixel art, but it's kind of like the Sims 1-ish. Kind of. Anyway, this game is pretty much like a Sims game. You build houses, set up your character, wear clothes, control the household, there's skills, and all of that good stuff, including mods and Steam Workshop integration, which is a very nice addition. The game is in early access since about the middle of 2023 with few but very positive reviews. And the good news is that there is a free demo as well. So if you're unsure about this even more retro Sims kind of game, then you can try it out for free and see if it's for you before jumping in all the way. But I think for this section, the main thing that people are looking for is basically The Sims without EA, to see if there's any good alternatives. So let's move on to the next option. This one is called Vivaland. All the world's a stage and all the people are merely players, especially in Vivaland, where you can become the director of your own story. You design characters, craft stories, build a house, and if you want, you can invite up to 7 of your friends to join you in creating and playing together. So basically, this is The Sims with multiplayer? I mean, online co-op in this kind of game is, well, it's sort of like a smaller scale Second Life, I guess, but just for a small group of friends. Up to 8 players is quite a few, actually. And you'll be creating your characters, experiencing life, building your dream houses and worlds, and improving your skills as you make your way from a toddler to adult, doing things like painting, writing, gardening, cooking, playing instruments, repairing objects, and more. So this one, of course, is a more modern interpretation of this kind of dollhouse sim. But the main challenge for these games trying to take on modern sims is that despite all the other issues and problems of the Sims franchise, generally there's one thing that the Sims always nails, which is personality and whimsy. It's always the most characterful, which is something that any game that's tried to take on Maxis games in general has struggled with, even if they've become their own bigger successes in their own right. You know, sort of like comparing City Skylines to SimCity 5, which is the SimCity 2013 game. Although City Skylines clearly was the winner, many do still prefer the whimsy of SimCity. Anyway, in Vivaland, it does look like there's a lot of promise here, but we haven't really seen all that much in terms of how this is gonna play out. But they are setting it for a 2024 release at the moment, and maybe the small multiplayer aspect is enough to set this apart. I mean, I know a lot of people who would love to just have a friend or two in their Sims world, and maybe that's all it'll take for Vivaland to blow up. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then we have the Sims competitor that blew up in interest a couple years ago. It's called Paralives. You live and then you die, but at least you do it in a nice house. Paralives is an upcoming life simulation game where you build your dream house, create some characters, and manage their lives the way you want. This is an indie game that has been coming along slowly over the years, and it's been getting more and more updates in terms of its building mechanics, character creation, gameplay, and all of that. When I first saw Paralives, again, my main concern was the lack of whimsy in character, which the developer does seem to have been slowly putting more of that into the game. And it's actually starting to look kind of fun at this point. I mean, it's come a long way since the initial reveals of curved walls, and now it is actually looking more like a game. Although, because it is indie, there is no fixed release window. This could release in some form in 2024, or maybe it'll take even longer. There's no promise at this point. But I think in general, if you're looking for Sims competitors, you have to at least know how Paralives is going. Now, going in the opposite direction of indie, it's Life by You. This is the Sims competitor from Paradox. So there's a lot of money behind this, and Paradox has been swinging that City Skylines money into other simulation games recently, and Life by You is taking on the Sims franchise. Designed to be one of the most moddable and open life simulation games, this one is about humans, stories, and creations that you will make. You play in an open world with no loading screens, you strike up real language conversations, you can drive or bike to the countryside, and you discover and complete quests to unlock new experiences. Modding is going to be a big thing, with creator tools included, and you can change the gameplay anytime. You can also take direct control of your humans, like driving them around in third-person mode, as you climb a career ladder, fall in love, and raise a family, all while telling stories through conversations and designing your own world. So this is a Paradox game, so first thing, you can expect a lot of DLC, and it's already got a release date, at least an early access release date at the moment, set for the 5th of March 2024, and it's meant to be an early access for at least 12 months. So this is an early access release in 2024 with a full release currently set for sometime in 2025, but of course it could go longer. And as I was mentioning earlier about the comparison between SimCity and City Skylines, you can see how Life by You is one of those Paradox games where it's taking that Sims kind of approach, but in a more developed, more elaborate way, but also lacking that whimsy. So just on, like a basic point, this game actually just calls your characters humans. They're not Sims, or they're not like in Vivaland where they're called Vivas. They're just called humans. And that's kind of the approach that I suppose has worked for Paradox, and they're gonna try recreate that again with Life by You. City Skylines killed SimCity. Could Life by You kill The Sims? Maybe not quite as easy a task. But with Life by You releasing early in 2024, it's most likely going to cut in before any kind of Sims 5 release, which could give them the edge up. As The Sims 5 announces new features, Life by You could just add them in before Sims 5 even releases. So, if you are waiting for Sims 5, maybe you don't really have to wait for it, and you could just get into Life by You first. We'll see if this is actually a good game when it does release into early access. And of course, I was mentioning The Sims, so of course, yeah, The Sims 5 is being developed. Nothing has particularly been revealed. We've seen some glimpses, some behind the scenes, some little things here and there. Nothing too much. A few things have been said, how they want to implement more online elements, how it's supposed to be free to play, so The Sims 5 should be an easy one to just jump into. But of course, with Maxis and EA, it's gonna have a lot of DLC, a lot of expansions, which, to be fair, Life by You by Paradox is likely to have as well. But The Sims has been particularly excessive with the DLCs and expansions and stuff packs and all of the microtransactions and all of that. Generally, it's going to be interesting to see what The Sims 5 is going to be. Generally, each of the Sims game has been the best at one or two things. So like The Sims 1 is great for that retro vibe and just simpler, more toned down gameplay, whereas The Sims 2 has probably the most detail in terms of everything, like the world building, the neighborhood design, the animations. The Sims 2 just nails it. The Sims 3 has the large, open, seamless world, which was a really nice addition. And Sims 4 is said to have the best building and architecture of the series. So hopefully, in an ideal world, The Sims 5 takes the best of all the previous games and puts them into one game. But I do feel like that might not be the most profitable approach, and Maxis and EA is likely to not do that, and they will just do whatever would make the most money. Now, it'd be good if making a good game and making the most money align. Let's be honest, that's not always the case. And although we don't know when The Sims 5 will release, I think it's important to remember that 2024 will be the 10-year anniversary of The Sims 4 releasing, which released in September 2014. So maybe Sims 5 releases September 2024 for the 10-year anniversary, or maybe they'll let Sims 4 have its decade anniversary and they'll release Sims 5 somewhat after that. But I'm still gonna mention Sims 5 here because they're probably gonna slowly trickle more news and teasers at us, and it's gonna be one of the biggest games in the world, unless they somehow do a SimCity with it, in which case Paradox will steal all the glory. Okay, as a bonus entry, I'm gonna mention Stardew Valley. Yeah, that's an old game. It's clearly not a 2024 game. However, I have to say that there is a massive update coming to Stardew Valley, the 1.6 update. Stardew Valley has received massive updates over the years. It's a completely overhauled game since its initial release. So if you've only played Stardew Valley at its release and haven't played it in a few years, then, you know, when the 1.6 update hits, it might be worth jumping back in. They're adding so much more, so many more events, dialogue lines, things to do, just so much. Stardew Valley is clearly one of the biggest successes of the last decade. I mean, I know Steam user reviews are not a full indicator of how good or bad a game exactly is, but come on, it's received 500,000 user reviews on Steam at 98% positive. Like, not many games can say they're that popular, and Stardew Valley is just getting better and better and better without a single piece of DLC or expansion. They just keep adding stuff to it. Now, the 1.6 update is still in the works at the time of recording. If you're watching this in the future, then it might already be out. And they say it is pretty close to being finished at this point. So when the 1.6 update releases, it might be time to jump back into Stardew Valley, especially if you haven't played it for a while. And I do have to imagine that once this 1.6 update releases, the developer might shift their focus to Haunted Chocolatier. So could this be the last major update for Stardew Valley? Maybe, maybe not, who knows? The developer likes to work in secret. I think this update alone is worth mentioning Stardew Valley for 2024, because I think a lot of people are gonna want to jump back into it for this update. There you have it. Press the like button and use the GOG referral link below to support videos like this one. Thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members who really support this channel and keeping videos like this being made. If you want to stay in the know for another genre, go to the next list video linked on the screen, as I'm sure cozy life sim fans like yourself would not want to miss all the simulation and tycoon games in the other lists. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.